Hey, what's up guys and girls? Hurricane Liz here, and I've got a real special video for you guys today. In this video, I talk about the most common mistakes people make in merch. And I know when we first start merch, especially when we get accepted, but when we get accepted, we're so excited, we just want to put all sorts of designs up, and we go a little nuts. So in this video, I talk about the most common mistakes people make and how to avoid those mistakes so that you can come up with a game plan in order to make your first merch sale. Now, I'll tell you this much, it's one of the most exciting things ever that you can just actually upload a design and not have to worry about the shipping, the packing, the printing, any of that crap, or even the ads, and the thing magically sells. It's amazing, it's Amazon merch, and that's why I'm going to show you 3 things to avoid doing on your merch account. So let's go ahead and jump straight in. Okay, so we're in screen share, and here's what we're going to do. First and foremost, you should have your design ideas ready because we're going to talk about the tool that I use to actually overcome these 3 most common mistakes that I see merch, especially brand new merch sellers make. So first thing you need to do is already have an idea of a niche you want to go into. Like, it doesn't matter if it's very general, that's fine. We can start from general. So I'll kind of give you an example. If we wanted to go into the coffee niche, what we can easily do is just go ahead and search coffee t-shirts just to get ideas. But I would go ahead and first make a big idea list and start from there. But you can see clearly like what kind of coffee shirts are happening. So for example, here's one, but first coffee. And although Disney makes it, you can relate but first coffee to anything, like okay, but first coffee, just a mama who loves coffee. And so there's a lot of ideas for like some coffee things, but I kind of actually pre-looked at some ideas earlier and I found a few. So we're going to look at those first. So where we start, and the first biggest mistake other than having an idea, which you should have a general idea, is that people go way too wide with the number of niches they're in. So let me try and explain this. An example would be is that you put a shirt up in a coffee niche because you see that coffee's hot. And then you see that a pug shirt is hot, so you put a pug shirt. And then you see that fitness shirt is good, so you put a fitness shirt. So at the end of the day, you're like in 20 niches or 30 niches and you can't keep track of how many niches you're in. Focus on finding like one niche. It could be a coffee niche and it could be a sub niche of the coffee niche, and then attacking that niche wide. And what I mean by that is that throw up 20 to 30 different designs in that particular niche so that you begin to know that niche well and you sort of see pockets within it. Because at the end of the day, the goal is to try to sell about 10 shirts a day, right? Whatever your goal is. So if you can actually dominate that coffee niche, there's a higher likelihood that you'll be able to identify when trends happen in it and that you'll catch fire. But the big thing is focus on one niche when you first start and try and make that an evergreen niche. Even though trending niches are fantastic, I'll show you in another video how to capitalize on trending niches, but pick one niche and go wide. So if I was gathering ideas, I would go to any site. You can go to Pinterest. I've talked about Winello in the past, and I'd get ideas for niches. So I did that earlier, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to research a niche now so that we make sure we just go wide in that one niche. And this brings me to my second tip. When we go wide in the niche, we want to make sure we do the proper research so that we launch enough t-shirts in that niche to be able to blanket the niche and be able to dominate in the niche and share the niche with other big sellers. So the biggest mistake, like I said, is people are all over the place. They're in hundreds of different niches. So how do we do research on that one niche? Well, in this example, I'm going to do research and see how the I drink and do things niche actually does overall. So the first place that I would start is Amazon. And so this particular niche has been kind of hot for a while, since Game of Thrones. If you guys saw Game of Thrones, you'll remember that Tyrion said, I drink and I know things. And that caught fire, and still to this day these sell, as you're going to see. So it's actually, that's what I do, I know things. And he said something in another way. It wasn't, that's what I do, I know things. So I'm going to enter this and see what pops up. So that's what I do, I read books. And here it is. That's what I do. And then I'm going to let it tell me what there is. So this one here stands out. That's what I do. I cook and I know things, partly because I know it relates to women, and women buy a ton of crap. So I'm going to go down and see how these are doing. And the biggest indication of how well they're doing is, now that I know this actual keyword, is what I want to do is I want to look at only merch. So what I could do is I copy this saying and I go over to this site called merchresearch.com, and in merchresearch.com, I paste that and I'm going to hit search. And now what this is going to do is it's going to show me only shirts that are listed for merch. So I can see that there's 85 results for That's What I Do, I Cook and I Know Things, which is a good indication that probably people are making some money in this niche and it's something that we should look into. If it has a lot less results, it could also mean that it's something that's brand new and we could capitalize on that. And if it has a ton of results, like I'm going to show you here one that has a ton of results, and that is right now this shirt, which is going viral, or which has potentially already passed its virality. That is the Girl Dad shirt that's commemorating Kobe Bryant's love for his daughters. This shirt, if you notice, one additional thing before you start this research, download this extension. It's called DS Amazon Quick View. What this basically does is it's going to show you the BSR here, so you don't have to click into each individual shirt. And if you've seen my other merch videos, you'll know that 22,000 in clothing is selling extremely well, like extremely well. If you're somewhere around in the 500K range, you're probably selling one shirt a week, but 100K, maybe a shirt a day or a shirt every day, but 22K means it's selling quite a few shirts, and it's not the only one. So what I would do is once I hit, in this case, Girl Dad, I'm going to look and see what the BSR is, and you can clearly see that the top 5 are all under 100K, and the second set of them are all under 200 and some K. Same thing with the third set, and these are all doing extremely well. So in general, this niche is red hot right now. Does that mean it's competitive? Absolutely. Does it mean you might have to actually put some money into promoting it? Yes, it does. But if you're brand new, unless you have like really badass design skills, like this kind of trend is already kind of hitting, and it would be difficult to compete with a lot of these advanced sellers unless you're a great designer. So keep that in mind. But I just wanted to show you an example of a niche that is red hot right now. But let's go back to our example of this actual cooking niche, which is That's What I Do, I Cook and I Know Things. And what we want to start to do is come across these shirts and notice what the BSRs are. And while the BSRs are there, it means that they're selling, and they're not selling a ton of shirts. Like this one's probably selling maybe one a week. And there's a couple shirts that are actually selling in the niche. So what I would actually start to do is, if you're doing this manually, I would begin to make a spreadsheet, and it's basically got 2 actual lines. Like we know these are selling. I would actually just copy right here, like right click, copy link address, and actually put it on one line of the spreadsheet. And I'll do that for you here in a minute. Right, so I'd grab that link address, and then it's optional if you want to put the BSR. It's totally up to you. I'm not, because I'm gonna basically base this on, I already looked at it, everything was selling all right, so I'm just gonna have the link to that. And I don't really think there's anything else that I would put, but if you really want to be like, you could put the price and you could put this on there. So we'll do just for the example. And the reason that I'm doing this is just so that I know later on for my own actual reasons, and so that I can give this to my designer. You could also put the ASIN, but that's not necessary, so I'm gonna go to put $19.99 here. And what this is just like an actual database of these shirts, and you can give this to your designer, and you could put like 15 shirts and say, I want like 5 variations of this or 10 variations. Because remember, the biggest issue is people aren't going wide in the niche. So if we've gone ahead and decided I'm gonna have my designer create 5 shirts in this niche, I'm gonna have them create 5 shirts and then focus and work on those 5 shirts. But then you could go to another niche, right? So you want to first test those 5 out, see if they work or not. I'll show you another example of one that didn't look that great, and that was Coffee Right Meow. So let's go to merch right here. It's Coffee Right Meow. I'm in merch research, and I'm gonna search it, and then it's just gonna show me the merch results, and then I can see, like, based on the BSRs, are these shirts doing good? And you can see that the top 5, they are doing that really great, like 3.7 million. It means it's sold, but this thing's collecting dust, like literally. There's not much going on. 11 million, and nothing's really going too well in this niche. There's 35 results, but out of those 35, very few are actually selling. So I know cats are hot here and there, but in this case, it's not. So that's the second biggest mistake I see people make. The third biggest mistake I see people make is that once they get their actual products like up and running. So for example, what I'm saying is, once you get your designs up and running and they're ready to load up, you want to load up too many of of one thing. Just go with standard t-shirts right now. That's it. That's all you want to do. You don't want hoodies. You don't want premium t-shirts. You don't want any of that. Stick with the basics, and that is standard t-shirts. Don't get fancy. Don't get like the higher end t-shirts. Just go with standard t-shirts. That is what typically people order. When you get fancier like that, it's just a waste of time. So focus on your core niche and only focus on making or being in just a couple core niches. Like for now, 5 to 10 max, but know your niches so that when somebody asks you what niche do you sell in, it's not just like I'm all over the place. At least you're in one niche and you can say like I'm in the cats niche, or there could be sub niche of the cats niche. For example, the coffee and cat niche. Like who thought that was actually a niche, right? But there's all sorts of niches. Earlier, I saw a t-shirt on here that I was like, that's kind of crazy, but it was actually kind of cute for people that have cats. And that is the cat's resume shirt. So if we actually go back to merch research, it's super useful. I'm going to put cat's resume, and you're going to see cat's resume pops up, and there's 5 results, but there's only a few sales, right? Does that mean it's a bad idea? It could be, who knows? What you could do is also do like Pug's resume or something like that. Take the most actual popular breed and make that yourself, particularly if you're a designer. Like I couldn't do that. I don't think my graphic artists are really simple, so it probably wouldn't be doable for them, but somebody that's in the actual, like as an artist, could easily do this. And so that's kind of my recommendation. And so that's pretty much it for the 3 most common actual errors that I see people make when they jump into merch. You don't want to make those mistakes. You want to basically jump in there, know your niche, and only create standard t-shirts for now. Do 4 or 5 of each, and you should be on the road to success. So let me know if you have any questions, post them below. I always personally answer those, and I will see you guys and girls in the next merch video.